So the top 10 value destinations, right? These are international destinations that you can go to for, well, I'm not saying no money. That's not necessarily how these things work, but that offer good value on things if you do decide to go there. At number 10 is it's an international destination, but for us South Africans, it's basically right next door. It's Namibia. If you guys haven't been to Namibia, you absolutely must. It offers a really rare opportunity to see something totally unique. You know, Botswana's going for the really exclusive market. They've got a lot of guys coming in for the Okavango tours and the very big money. But Namibia's offering stuff like the Etosha Pan and the Wild Skeleton Coast and things, and it's absolutely beautiful and won't cost you all that much to get there and to do things, particularly if you arrange local tours and you self-drive for yourself. And amongst the highlights there's kind of sandboarding on the dunes, there's hiking the Fish River Canyon. You must go. It's a great international destination. At number 9, actually, is a destination that we had on last week's list, which is kind of the top 10 most unique places you could go. And the Azores comes in on value as well, mainly because it's a little bit out of the way, so you have to take a flight there to get there, so not a lot of people go. It is beginning to pick up, though. It's you can eat food that's been cooked in volcanoes, absolutely unique kind of place to go, and it's based on it's basically a Portuguese island, so there's a lot of Portuguese influence and things there, but there is a really kind of different take on the island holiday there if you want to go there. Lots of whale watching, mineral springs, seaside towns, that sort of thing. Number 8 is Cambodia. Yes, it's not as cheap now as it was maybe, let's say, 10 years ago. But it is still an absolute bargain. There's temples, there's your basic kind of Far Eastern culture tours, there's the Far Eastern food, there's plenty of beer, and literally you can tour Cambodia on a budget. You know, I don't want to lie, but if I say $150 a day, 150 Rand a day, you should be able to get away with that, provided you forgo your rooms with kind of air cons and don't spend too long in the headline destinations. But genuinely, you can get away with about 150 Rand a day there. And number 7 is a European destination, actually, and it's Portugal. And it's a place that not a lot of people think about going. They kind of go to Spain, France quite a bit. Portugal, not nearly as popular, but it's an easy country to get around, which is one of the things that knocks the prices right down. You know, they've got great public transport. The buses are cheap. There's a lot to do there. It's basically a coastline. That country is basically a beautiful coastline. You know, all the stuff that attracts people to Ibiza and that sort of thing, it's all there in Portugal as well. Only the prices are roughly half price from the other kind of beach destinations in and around Europe. Number 6, another European destination, Lithuania. And I know you're already thinking, cold, frozen, sort of Russian concrete edifices, but it isn't. It's a Baltic state. It used to be the biggest Baltic state, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's got a lot of history to it, and that impacts in its city, which is on a lot of tours, on a lot of polls. The capital of Lithuania is the most pretty capital in Europe. So that's a big one. At number 5 is Australia's favorite destination, and with reason, because Australians, they can't do anything in Australia. They're not allowed to drink, in public. They're not allowed to do anything. So what they do is they all fly to Bali, which is just around the corner. And Bali is dirt cheap, particularly if you don't mind spending time around Australian backpackers. It's also the kind of place where you can get away with, your accommodation will cost you about 150 Rand. You can rent a moped for 70 Rand to go to all the attractions. And here's the best thing about Bali. A lot of the attractions, the landscape gardens, the beaches, they're all free. Number 4 is a South American destination, which is very, very rare because South America is actually becoming more and more costly. Number 4 is Bolivia, and Bolivia is cheap because it is poor. So know that if you're going to Bolivia, you're taking advantage of that. But it's still the kind of backpacker-friendly destination. There's a lot of stuff to do there. There's the Amazon, Lake Titicaca. Sure, try and say that fast. And the Inca Trails. I think a daily budget of about 400 Rand, including accommodation, your transport, your food, that's not unreasonable. Your money will go quite far there. I mean, look, it's an expensive continent, and it's quite expensive to get to from South Africa because I believe only SAA flies, and they've only got one destination in South America. But If you can get there, once you're there, 400 Rand a day, spend some time. Number 3 on the list of most valued international destinations, Palawan in the Philippines. Jungle rivers, limestone cliffs, awesome beaches. Palawan is one of those places. It's got that kind of feeling of what Thailand was about 10 years ago. It's not exactly a secret. The people who go there know about it and always rave about it. But it is the kind of place where you go and you're going to be getting competitive prices for absolutely everything. There's gorgeous beaches. You can live that life of eating seafood platters on the beach. Again, also down to about 200 Rand a day. And Palawan in the Philippines really kind of delivers. If you want that old style Thai holiday, what Thailand used to be before that Leonardo DiCaprio movie, The Beach, Palawan in the Philippines has still got some of that going for it. At number 2 is Albania in Europe. It's unfairly shunned by a lot of tourists because it's seen as dangerous or backward. Neither of these are true, obviously. Albania offers a lot of secluded beaches, and the big thing for Albania is the locals. The locals take a genuine interest in their tourists. They're really nice, friendly people. Guys I know who've been to Albania have stories of getting picked up in one city and driven to another city by somebody who had no intention of going there. So it's that kind of place. There's, from a culture point of view, there's a lot of ancient Greek and Ottoman ruins. The Turkish-style foods. Just imagine a trip to the kind of Balkan countries before they became popular, and you've got it. The prices match that as well. Really, really good value. Number 1, as far as I'm concerned, for value international destination in the world is Nepal. Nepal's only recently kind of opened itself up for tourism, and that means that while the tourism numbers are kind of racing upwards, it's still relatively cheap and a tremendous option because it offers you something entirely unique for very little money. Once you get there, you can live genuinely on the price of a latte in Santon City on a day-to-day basis. Kathmandu's pretty much international, so Kathmandu you will pay slightly more, but once you're outside of Kathmandu, you can tour that country on the price of an expensive coffee. It's absolutely incredible. The costs do rise once you enter the national parks, but if you're up for trekking by yourself, going to tea houses, seeing sort of lonely temples, there's a lot of places you can stay, and if you're a bit creative, genuinely go for nothing. It's one of those holidays that will stay with you for a lifetime and won't cost you, won't break the bank, shall we say.